Do 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 do. And I do believe we are live, Katie. It's May 8th, 2023. And these are your Fortean Files. Found Fred Smith checking in already. Gotta like that. It's been another week, Katie. Another week of fun and excitement. Anything good going on in your world?
Oh, just enjoying springtime.
Yeah, it has gotten very warm.
Yes. We're getting there and enjoying all the wildlife. Been taking lots of wildlife pictures I enjoy.
I broke out the scooter.
Nice.
I had actually taken it for like a little voyage, so to speak, some weeks ago, just to I had unpacked it, but I really took it out for a ride finally. I'll probably start taking it back and forth to work here pretty soon. But it was nice. Took it out today. Ran down, grabbed myself a sandwich. It's nice to be able to have it. Gives me something to be able to scoot around on. Gets me around from point A to point B. As long as it's not fucking raining or, whatever the case may be, I can get around. So it's been fun being able to have that.
Yeah, especially where you live. One of those would be really nice to scoot around.
Yeah, and everything's open in the summertime when you can use it.
Yeah.
So all the stuff that, I would normally go, well, I think the sandwich shop's open year round, but a lot of the places that you would go downtown, they're not, open in the wintertime. So it's a perfect time to be able to have it. I do want to upgrade and get my motorcycle license. I think that's the way to go for me at this point, because I enjoy riding. Excuse me. And I'd like to have something that goes a little faster than what I currently have, because it just goes fucking 35, maybe 40 if I'm lucky.
Get some good downhill coasting
on a good day. No, on a good day, Katie, when the gas is all right, everything's all in good mix, and the wind is at your back, you can get 40 on a straightaway.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. It more so happens when you're going downhill or whatnot, but usually I get up to about 37, 38 miles per hour is where she tops out at. But like I said, good day, she'll do 40. But I love it. It's great. Fucking 100 miles to the gallon.
Right. Financially, yeah. It's a good move.
Saves me a shit ton. It's cost me $2,000. $2,000 for that fucking bike. That's it.
Yeah. You can't even get a good used car for that anymore.
Yeah. And I've run that thing for the past couple of years. I ran it back and forth to the hotel. I ran it back and forth when I was working down at Duncan and at the other hotel. It's worked out great. So, but yeah, it's been an interesting week. We'll be looking into later on this evening. I don't know if anybody heard about there were 2 girls that they were looking for down in Oklahoma.
Teenage girls.
And they found them. They found him.
Yes, they
Although
did.
not alive. Then we'll be getting into that story later on tonight. But yeah, my son's home. Of course, you got to talk to him before the show, so
Yes.
he's in the other room currently. But yes, he's home from college, another year down. So I don't know how long we'll go tonight. I don't know if we'll do the standard. I don't know if we'll cut it out a little early. We'll see how I'm feeling once we get there. You know, I don't know. I told him to be prepared for a 2-hour show. So
We'll
it's
see what
possible.
happens.
Yeah, I don't know. The Adnan Syed shit last week, I did not expect to talk as much as we did about that.
Yeah, it was a lot, but that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I mean, so did I, but I did not expect to go as long as we did. I cut out early of the other stuff because I wanted to give us a buffer, and I was like, God, we're gonna have a lot of fucking time.
Well, in all fairness, you consumed a lot of content in a
Yeah.
short period of time, and it was a lot to unpack. So
Yeah, most definitely. So, and I like doing that stuff, and I'd like to do it again
yeah,
at some point in time. I don't know what case I'd like to delve into to do that again with, but I'll think about it.
yeah.
But I definitely like to try that again. I did the dorkiest fucking thing today, Katie, and it may seem like to some people, okay, it may seem cute, but if I'm being honest, this is like the dorkiest thing I've done in a long time. So, as you know, I have a Kindle. And I talk about reading quite a bit.
Yeah.
With a Kindle, you don't get to enjoy having a bookmark.
Sure.
So, I put a bookmark in my Kindle. It has a spot for a credit card.
Yeah.
In my new Kindle cover. So I was like, shit, I wonder if my fucking bookmark will fit me. And it does.
That's awesome.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The dorkiest fucking thing I've done in a while.
No, that's not too bad. Any book enjoyer, I think, would appreciate that.
Well, that was one of the things that I used to do when I bought books. Was I was big into, what am I going to get for a fucking bookmark?
Yeah.
I need a bookmark. What am I going to buy for a fucking bookmark? Because you wanted to have a cool bookmark.
Right.
Just because. You didn't need one. You fucking take a piece of paper
Right.
and just make a bookmark.
I've historically been a lazy bitch and just used my Walmart receipt out of my purse. So
Right. You can use whatever.
yeah.
But if you're a fucking fancy pants like myself, a fucking book diva, if you will, you need a fancy bookmark. And I was always buying fucking cool bookmark. That bookmark that I have in there, it's a hologram.
Nice.
Yeah,
they do make cool ones. You can find some unique ones.
Yeah, so I'm like, I have this cool bookmark. I want to use it, so fuck it. I threw it in there. So yeah, I did something super dorky. I'm almost done with the Lord of the Rings too.
Nice.
That book series has taken up some time for me.
I bet.
And I think not because it's like super long or anything like that. Just I saw the movies. I know how it ends. The books are pretty much exactly like the movies. I'm just like, I got to a point in the last book where I'm just like, okay, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Let's go. Let's wrap it up. And I'm at the end, like, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, Frodo throws the ring in the well, he doesn't, technically he doesn't, but the ring gets destroyed. I hope I didn't ruin the fucking book for anybody. It's only been around for fucking ever.
Right.
So like, I've already read that. He's already destroyed the ring. He's been saved. Like, he's back. He's fucking hanging out. And that was like 3-4 chapters ago. Like, Tolkien just
Sounds
doesn't know how to
long.
fucking wrap up a fucking book.
Right.
Just like, dude, let's go. Let's go. So I should be done with that pretty soon, though. Move on to something new. And I had talked to you about possibly reading the C.S. Lewis stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'm going to jump into that right now. I think I want to read something else, kind of clean my palate.
Sure.
After. And not that the Lord of the Rings was horrible. I don't want people to think that, like, I need something. You know, something to set me straight. You know, it's written in such a fashion that it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
It's a lot
It's a big
to take
read.
in. Well, it's written so weird in some parts, and the people speak really fucking odd. So, in and of that, you know, I don't know where I'm gonna go from there. I gotta look through my books and see. You know, it's not like I don't have enough choices.
Right. You've got plenty of options.
Yeah. So I'll look into that. But let's dive into our first story of the evening tonight, Katie, from khmoradio.com. Bigfoot. Missouri woman claims she ran into a creek devil. Strange things happen in the woods of Missouri. A new story from a Missouri woman claims that when she was a girl, she ran into something near a creek bed that she can't explain. She called it a creek devil. This story comes from a woman named Carol, who shared her story with a Bigfoot YouTube channel. The story begins as she was a young girl growing up near Kansas City, Missouri. She was 6 years old at the time and had not heard of what many have described as Momo or Bigfoot. The only thing she was told by her parents and friends was not to go outside at night by herself. Carol said she grew up in the outskirts of Kansas City, Missouri, near the woods. There were deer everywhere, and her parents had gardens too. There were peach trees behind their home also. She said the trees grew strong thanks to underground streams, which led to a nearby creek. So what happened that made Carol believe that she saw a creek devil? Carol went outside, waiting for her family to come outside as they were getting ready to visit friends. Ugh. It was then that Carol suddenly got goosebumps. She knew she was being watched by something. Carol didn't find any neighbors or dogs looking at her, which scared her more. She sensed danger. Down by the peach trees in her yard, she saw a beast that was about the same size as her. It was furry looking and didn't appear like anything she had ever seen. She tried to hide behind a tree, but whatever the beast was, baring its teeth at her.
That was written weird.
But whatever the beast was bearing, yeah, that was written weird. Is this just the wild imagination of a 6-year-old who was spooked by wildlife? She's convinced after all these years it was something else entirely. Her story of the creek devil she saw is still being told today. It's yet another story of something strange that exists in the Missouri woods. There is a YouTube video, it looks like, on the encounter, or maybe she was interviewed or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, could have been anything.
Yeah. You never know. I've often said with any of my encounters, which I have like one, which was a UFO, quote unquote. But I will often say, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it was. You tell me. You fucking tell me, because I don't know. And I'm not going to tell you that I know. That's kind of foolish for me to sit there.
Right.
For me to sit there and say that I know for sure what the fuck it was. That's
If you knew for
folly.
sure what it was, we wouldn't be talking about it, really.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the nature of those things.
Yeah, we sure as hell wouldn't be talking about it. I'd probably be whisked away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Our next story of the evening from uk.sports.yahoo.com. Rainn Wilson says his dad prayed ghosts out of their totally haunted house in Nicaragua. Rainn Wilson had a brush with the paranormal at age 4. The Office alum recounted his earlier years living in a beautiful but totally haunted Victorian abode on the coast of Nicaragua while on Monday's episode of Jennifer Hudson's eponymous talk show, sharing that the spirits had an affinity for rearranging furniture in the dead of night. There was this beautiful Victorian house on top of a hill, and it was totally haunted. They were like, "You cannot move in there. This is a totally haunted house," Wilson said. "I was young. I was like 4. Though his own recollection is spotty, his father shared stories about creaking noises, i.e. the sound of furniture moving along the floors, downstairs come nightfall. This is absolutely a true story. I swear on my life," Wilson said. "And every morning we'd come down and the furniture would all be in different places. My dad had the brilliant idea. He got a piece of chalk and he went downstairs and he drew a little circle around every leg of furniture. And sure enough, the next night, every piece of furniture had moved like 3 to 6 inches. So it wasn't like a monkey or something like that. Rather than run like hell, the Wilson patriarch had a different approach in mind. My dad got a bunch of his friends together and some people that he had met, and they just started saying prayers," Wilson recalled. "They started praying to the dead and to the spirits and to God, and it never happened again. They prayed it out of there." Interesting.
Oh, that is very interesting.
The story kind of goes on, but I'm going to stop it right there. They prayed it away.
It would be creepy to come downstairs and have your living room rearranged or
All
everything
your
just
furniture.
shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like those fucking paranormal activity movies.
Yeah.
You ever watch any of them?
The first one I know I did.
Yeah.
It was pretty well done. I remember, I don't know. I don't get too scared of that kind of stuff, but it was a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember how many of them we watched. My son and I went on a tear with those ones. At one point. Can't remember why and for how long. It was weird.
I said maybe I've seen the second one too, but I don't retain that kind of stuff very well. I watch a movie once and then never think about it again. So
yeah. Let's see. Let's go to our next story of the evening from atlasobscura.com. That's atlasobscura.com. Argentina's Loch Ness Monster lurks beneath a Patagonia lake. Nahuelito's plesiosaur visage can be found all over the small town of Bariloche. Deep in the mountains of Patagonia is a glistening crystal clear lake. People come here from all over the world to bask in the cool waters while gazing out at the stunning Argentinian landscape. But humans aren't the only ones who swim in Nahuel Huapi Lake. Legend has it that a long-necked plesiosaur-like monster roams these waters. Its name is Nahuelito. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. The now famous Argentinian cryptid has been spotted countless times from the banks of San Carlos de Bariloche, often shortened to Bariloche. I know I'm pronouncing that one wrong. A major point of entry for tourists to Patagonia. The small city, which is about the size of Topeka, Kansas, has embraced the Loch Ness Monster lookalike. Bariloche-based filmmaker Miguel Angel Rossi, director of Bajo Superficie, a documentary about the cryptid, says El Nahuelito is our most emblematic symbol. For many Argentinians, just the mention of Nahuelito conjures images of Patagonia's Andes Mountains towering above the region's glistening rivers and lakes. Ooh. I need a drink.
sounds beautiful.
Sounds fucking majestic, Katie. Majestic is what it sounds like. Nahuelito's origins are, like the creature itself, shrouded in mystery. The I'm gonna fuck this all up. Tehuelche people who have lived in the Patagonia wilds for millennia shared stories of a huge creature spotted swimming beneath the surface of Nahuel Huapi, known as El Cuero. El Cuero? To the to them, to those people. The monster was said to resemble a giant stingray with a sucker-like mouth, and it used to eat its victims. Parents warned their children to stay away from the lakeshore, or else El Cuero might drag them beneath the waves as a snack. Giant stingray with a sucker-like mouth? That's like a fucking Lovecraft monster.
They kind of already have a sucker-like mouth on their own.
Well, I'm guessing more. In the 16th century, early Portuguese sailors claimed they spotted other monsters roaming among Patagonia's beach and cypress trees. They swore they saw giant men and named the region Patagao, or in Portuguese, Bigfoot. Ooh. These early Europeans also caught glimpses of beasts swimming beneath the waves of the region's many lakes, creatures like El Cuero and Nahuelito. For these explorers, Patagonia was a land of monsters. The land of monsters. 19th century immigrants to Patagonia added their own spin to the legendary creatures of the region, and in the 1920s, Nahuelito finally emerged in its modern iteration as a long-necked prehistoric monster. American gold miner Martin Sheffield, who had settled in Patagonia in 1880, was among the first to describe Nahuelito. In 1922, he wrote to Buenos Aires zoo director Clemente Onelli about a long-necked swan-headed creature that dwelled in a lagoon near Ipuyén, a village some 90 miles south of Bar-la-Roche. Onelli organized an expedition to Ipuyén Lake as well as to other major lakes in Patagonia, including Nahuel Huapi. At the time, the idea of uncovering a new big species like Edmund Hillary's hunt for the Yeti was still taken seriously. Onelli and his team didn't find the monster, but publicity around the hunt forever cemented the creature in the public's imagination. Blah 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 blah. One of Argentina's leading newspapers, La Nación, quickly gave the creature form as a giant plesiosaur. Other notable media outlets, such as Buenos Aires-based magazine Caras y Caretas and national newspapers La Razón and La Prensa, soon followed suit and featured long articles about Nahuelito with giant plesiosaur illustrations. A local Bar-la-Roche cigarette factory released plesiosaurio packs. Tango musicians such as the prolific composer Rafael D'Agostino wrote El Plesiosaurio. I'm sorry. I need a minute.
Yeah. That was a good one.
International newspapers such as the Toronto Globe, the New York Times, and France's Le Petit Journal also ran stories about Argentina's mysterious cryptid. Scrappy English paleontologist Mary Anning first discovered plesiosaurs in 1823. In the early 20th century, as interest in paleontology continued to grow, people began spotting prehistoric creatures that still roamed the earth. In Scotland, the Loch Ness Monster and Nessie started rearing its plesiosaur-shaped head. In the Republic of the Congo, a brontosaurus-like creature known as Mokele Mbembe was spotted in Lake Tele. I know how to pronounce that one, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you got that one.
I fucking got Mokele Mbembe. And across the globe, in Argentina, Nahuelito, whose name derives from Nahuel Huapi Lake, morphed into a plesiosaur monster. In 1923, Nahuelito became forever associated with the small lakeside town of Bar-la-Roche. During that year's carnival, Italian immigrant and timber merchant Don Primo Capraro built a model of Nahuelito out of wood and burlap. For a small fee, children could ride on the monster's back. Images of the event were soon published in La Nación. And yeah. You want to see this fucking thing that this dude made back in 1923? You know you do.
Yes.
You know you want to see this fucking thing. It's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. For 1923, it's pretty badass.
Wow.
That's pretty fucking
That
crazy.
is pretty cool.
It's pretty fucking crazy.
Wow.
For 1923, I'm down.
Yeah, they
If
put
I
a
was a
lot of
kid, I'd be like,
work into that.
yeah, shit, yeah. That's your fucking Nahualito.
Some real life adult arts and crafts right there.
Yeah, no shit, right? All right. Our next story of the evening. Let me see if I can find what we've got. Katie, let's do this one. From fox2now.com. For another Missouri. The Momo and now this one. Airline pilots spot mysterious lights over Missouri. Missouri's UFO sightings make headlines by appearing on the Today Show. Commercial airline pilots have captured video of these lights. Last October, the Today Show covered a story where a former F-18 Marine Corps fighter pilot, Mark Halsey, witnessed on August 18th strange UFO sightings in the skies over the U.S. Some of these sightings were above Missouri. Halsey spoke with the Today Show about his experiences. On the Today Show, Halsey said he saw a shooting star while flying, but then it joined the other lights that were moving around below the Big Dipper. Halsey, who was flying a charter jet off the coast of Los Angeles, saw several lights flying in circles at a higher level than his. He radioed the control center to say that there was a number of aircraft going around in circles and that he'd never seen anything like it. A short while later, Halsey called back to say the numbers of aircraft has grown. Halsey said several other pilots have also seen strange lights that they couldn't identify. These sightings have been recorded all over the world. Currently, there is no official way for civilian pilots to report these sightings right now, and they are afraid of not being taken seriously or being laughed at. St. Louis Public Radio explains in May 2022, there are now about 400 reports of unidentified aerial phenomena in the government database. Even though the government has seen these lights, they say they don't know much about them. There isn't enough proof in the videos to say for sure what the lights are. The New York Times reported that government officials think the strange things have been seen in the sky recently were balloons or other methods used in spying. A Chinese spy balloon flew over Missouri in February of this year. At the end of October 2022, the Pentagon put out a study that said the lights in the sky were real. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office has been working to identify 366 UAPs since July 2022 so far. 163 characterized as a balloon or balloon-like objects, 26 were unmanned aircraft systems or drones, 6 were attributed to just being cluttered. The story goes on to say that the fact they've been labeled does not mean that they can be identified for sure. The other 171 UAP reports that are unnamed and unattributed still need to be looked into. The deputy head of Naval Intelligence, Scott W. Bray, told lawmakers that they still haven't found anything non-terrestrial in origin, even though there have been things that they can't explain. This was reported by KWMU. Bray goes on to say that none of the aircraft that were seen tried to communicate with U.S. pilots, and that the entities didn't seem to have any people on them. Every day, more individuals are seeing these types of phenomena. Ben Hansen, who used to work for the government and was on the Today Show, looked into UFOs that people are seeing. He thinks that the lights are showing up more often, or that people are just starting to notice them more. Hansen also spoke on the Bobby Bone Show, and reaffirmed that he believes that Earth has been visited by entities from another world. I would give it a percentage from what I've seen myself, people I've talked to and everything they experienced, 95%. Hansen said on the show that we have been visited by entities, beings from other worlds. Maybe.
I don't know. I think technology's come too far. We've got so much crap out in the air. Your average Joe Schmo can throw up drones and balloons, and we just got a lot of shit floating around.
There's a lot out there. I just don't know. I don't know that any one thing that any one thing can be singled out. This is it.
Right.
You know, this is the proof of extraterrestrial life. I mean, I'd like to see it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think this is the way we're gonna find it.
No,
Like
I
definitive
agree.
proof of life off of this planet. I think the first time we definitively find it, it's gonna be like on one of fucking like Europa or something. You know, we'll go to Europa with an unmanned thing. It'll take a sample of the water there, and we'll see
Right.
life.
Yes, I agree.
That's the way I see it.
Even if we do find something funny here in the air, it's going to be hard to prove to everybody to come to a consensus that, oh, this didn't come from planet Earth. That'll be, I don't know.
Where do you stand on the whole UFO phenomenon?
I
The terrestrial origin.
I stand in the camp of I like to pretend it's not a thing and it's just not a part of my reality. I don't think about
really?
it. I don't know. I don't really, even when I hear stories and stuff, I feel very detached from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like my brain it's like with time travel. I know my brain can't comprehend it. So it's just not interesting to me. Maybe I'm stupid, but I'm
I
also
love time
blissfully
travel.
ignorant, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
It's scary to me, aliens. We got enough scary shit here on planet Earth. I don't need scary shit up there too, you know? So
Yeah, it's thinking about stuff like that. I kind of akin it to like thinking about your own mortality.
yes. But yeah, and I'm very similar in that too. You
Right.
know, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. It's not a part of my reality.
Right. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm very different in that I want to explore it. I'm a guy that I want to explore like what's going on with it. So, but I get that.
I'm not
I get
close to the idea of aliens, obviously. I'm capable of talking about it, and some of the stories are really cool and fun to dive into, but I don't know. I find it really hard to think of it in like hard fact terms like I do to a crime or something, you know?
yeah.
I'm just detached from it. But I'm open to the idea of them existing. I just kind of wish they didn't. So I pretend they don't.
Yeah, I think that it's just too big. Like I watched a video with Jordan Peterson the other day talking to some cosmologist, the guy that makes telescopes. A guy that studies the beginning of time.
It sounds exhausting.
And like I love those types of discussions. I can follow that shit. And there's people that can't. People that are like, that's boring as shit. I don't get it. You know. But listening to that guy talk about how there was a point. This is what he said. There was a point in time, some Sunday or Monday, because we're on Monday right now. Some Monday, however many billions of years ago, if you just kept going back and going back and going back and going back and going back to every Monday, there's a Monday where a little bit before that, all the laws of physics were different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? What? Like, I get it. I understand it. But to the layman, to tell somebody there was a point in time when when the laws of physics that we know and use and apply everywhere did not work.
Right. And it worked differently.
Right. There's a different set of laws.
See, now that I'm surprisingly able to wrap my mind around, but that's where it stops for me.
Yeah.
Because the mental gymnastics that I have been able to do like that were growing up in regards to religion and Christianity. And my mind, when I remember, I was like a preteen. This didn't come from like a teacher or a pastor or anybody, but I made up in my mind that a creation could happen because, okay, God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, whatever. Well, how do we measure days? We measure days by the way we rotate around the sun. Well, what if way back then we rotated differently around the sun, and time was
Well,
completely different.
somebody explained it to me in a different way. Like, when someone speaks to you of the back in my father's day, and maybe that it was referred to in that way.
Yeah.
Um,
But I can't go
and
beyond that. Like that's the extent of my mental gymnast. I can accept that and like
yeah,
believe that, but I can't expound on it beyond that.
right. Yeah, I excuse me. That stuff with the cosmologist and just listening to him talk about like all the galaxies and
Oof.
in the universe and like how many stars and how many planets around each star,
That's heavy stuff, man.
statistically speaking, and how many could possibly have life. And it's just your brain just starts going, okay, I give up. Yes.
Right?
Okay. There's something out there.
Makes you feel small to think about all that stuff.
Tiny.
Yeah.
If there's anything in the world that makes me think that there is a complex being that created all of this, it's the complexity of the universe.
Yeah.
Like, as you know, you and I have had many discussions before. I'm not a big Christianity guy. You are very much. You were brought up that way, and that you still feel that way. I'm not necessarily that way, but if I was to say that there's any one thing that makes me think that there is something, an omniscient being that created this whole shebang, that's it. Like, because it doesn't make sense to me that this is all, and maybe that's just, and this is the other thing too. This is the part of my rational brain that speaks up. Maybe that's just me, my ego, trying to wrap my head around being here.
Right. Oh, I can't be that small and insignificant. There has to
right.
be a reason.
Right. There has to be a way. But I tend to think that there are, there's a lot of markers to just show that there's a complex system there.
Yeah.
That is in place. What is it? I don't know. Call it God, call it whatever the fuck you want. I don't know. But I think it's interesting and worth looking at.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
Makes me glad there's a lot of people out there with bigger, smarter, more powerful brains than what I have.
I guess I was unaware that you had that feeling about the whole alien phenomenon. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's I've always been a little adverse to them. I don't know. I don't get excited about it like I do Bigfoot or any of those type of things. I'm an earthly gal. I like to stick my 2 feet here on Earth and stay there.
Well, our next story of the evening, I'm not gonna like go greatly into this one, Katie. I just want to show you the picture, really.
Okay.
From mysanantonio.com, Texas angler reels in monster catch on Brazos River in Waco. He estimated the fish weighed roughly 200 pounds. An angler caught a massive monster alligator gar while fishing on the Brazos River in Waco near Baylor University. Wolski, a 20-year-old student at Texas State Technical College, told KXXC he has fished in Texas his whole life. However, it was a struggle to reel in the alligator gar he encountered in April. With the help of a buddy, Wolski was able to get the huge creature onto his boat after a 30-minute fight. He said the gar was about 7 feet long and weighed an estimated 200 pounds. Look at this motherfucker.
Holy shit.
That's a big alligator gar.
What a fucking catch. How long is that thing?
He said he estimated around 7 feet.
Yeah, I was going to say 8, but damn.
Yeah, it looks a little, between 6 and 7, I'd say.
What a
Between
catch.
6 and 7, yeah. That's fucking huge. Huge motherfucker. What do you think, Farmer Fred Smith? Cook that son of a bitch up or what?
Hell yeah, I'd eat it.
What do you say, Farmer Fred Smith?
I don't even like fish, but I'd eat it.
How we doing that thing? What are we doing with it? You tell me.
Smoke it.
You tell me, motherfucker. You tell me. On to our next story of the evening. We'll go with our title story of the evening, I guess, Katie. From mirror.co.uk, UFO spotted flying over Coronation as mystery object seen hovering above red arrows. Simon Balson was taking pictures of the red arrows display when he spotted the unusual object flying overhead. A photographer snapped a UFO flying over the Coronation yesterday during the red arrows fly past. Simon Balson, 59, was taking pictures of the aerial display, which was scaled down due to the rainy weather, when he spotted the unusual object. The snapper says he has no idea what the object is, saying there have been a lot of unexplained sightings in the East London area recently. Brilliant pictures show the red arrows aircraft flying towards the mall in London, but slightly overhead a red object hovers above them. Due to the bad weather, he did not check the photos until this morning when he spotted the unusual object in one frame. I'm not going to read too much more on that one, Katie. Here it is.
I saw that headline. I never clicked on it, though.
Here it is, Katie. There it is. And Farmer Fred Smith says batter and fries.
Hell yes.
Batter and fries. I'm going to go balloon.
I'm going to go that looks photoshopped.
Balloon. I don't know.
I don't either, but I know
I don't have a Phil Polling anymore. He's retired.
That's true.
The man has given up. He's put down the mantle. I don't know who's taking it up. I don't know who's man enough to drink as much as Phil and do breakdown videos.
I think he could do both if he really put his mind to it.
I mean, he could. He's not gonna.
No, he's not.
But I want to know who's going to take up the mantle. The Mickey mantle, if you will.
I don't know anyone with the proper experience.
In alcohol or breakdown video?
Fair question.
Which would you prefer?
Definitely the breakdown. I mean,
I do like my guy who breaks down my videos to be a raging alcoholic with a tiki bar in his house.
You know what we need to do, Chris?
Yeah.
We need to start compiling a small list of pictures and short clips that we want him to analyze and keep it a secret, but we need to convince him to come on as a guest, just a one-time guest star, and then we can bombard him and
With a bunch
ask
of
him all of
videos.
our questions. Yes.
Like a shit ton of fucking videos. Phil, what do you think of this?
Yes.
Hey, what do you think of this? Just be like, dude, why don't you just come on the show? It's been a while.
Yeah, we
Haven't
want to
seen
catch
you. Haven't
up.
talked to you.
Yeah.
Let's touch base, man. It's been a fucking hot minute. Phil, what do you think of this Bigfoot video?
I'm telling you, we need to do it.
That would be kind of funny. I would love it if he got fucking super annoyed because I would literally just not stop.
Yes. That's why we need to compile a sturdy list. Get a little
that'd be
Google
so
Doc
good.
going.
God. The only thing that would suck is if he actually listened to this show,
I know.
like this particular one, and then he knew.
Well, let's hope he's not.
Yeah.
He's busy at his tiki bar.
Well, yeah, he's busy. All right. Well, we will take our little break. Katie and I will excuse me, Jesus Christ. Take a short little break. I will put on the sounds of night driving for everybody. As we go to break, we will return momentarily to start the second half of the program. Please enjoy the sounds of night driving. I implore you. We'll be right back, people. We are back.
Love that night drive.
Night drive. I could fucking just play that for the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
I could just play that for the show, sit here and smoke weed.
It's good stuff.
And just chill. And just kind of say like stupid shit for 2 hours. I could do that.
I could do that.
I could totally fucking do that. I'm not gonna, but I could.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Sounds like a good Friday night to me.
Very fucking easily. So, so Katie, you jumped into the case out of Oklahoma.
Yes. Henrietta,
I
Oklahoma.
am not too up to speed on this. I know that the police were searching for a couple of young girls. I know that the youngest one I think was 14.
Yep.
And they did find them. They were looking for a person of interest, I guess, I'm assuming, in connection with these girls. They found them at his home. They found them deceased, yes.
Yes.
Him deceased, yes.
Yes. Yep.
And 4 other bodies, as far as I knew at the time.
Yeah.
Has that grown in number? Or?
No. The total is 7.
Yeah, 7 in total.
Yes.
Yeah, those 3 and then 4 others. So,
Yeah.
so what was the what was the basis of this? Like, where did this all start?
Well, so the family unit of the person of interest that you mentioned is a mother and her 3 children, all teenagers. The youngest child was 13 of hers, and her new husband. So this was the stepdad to these 3 kids.
He was the stepdad?
Yes, correct. So
Okay.
short term, they hadn't been together a super long time. I think maybe 2 years. Don't quote me on that part. But mom, her 3 kids, and stepdad. The youngest daughter was having a sleepover. So those 2 other girls were having a sleepover with their known friend, part of that family. So those 2 girls, they were going to the sleepover, and then Sunday morning they were supposed to get up and go to this ranch to go swimming somewhere, and they never made it home, and that's when they were reported missing Sunday night. So they were missing, but obviously they knew where they were supposed to be. So that's a pretty clear direction of where to go look.
And this was last Sunday night, not last night.
Correct. Yeah, it's been a week now.
Yeah.
So the police obviously knew to go look, but like I said, they stayed the night at the family home, but then there was some other location that they were going to Sunday morning. So I think it took them a while to find that location. I'm not sure the series of events that led up to them finding it, but they did find on that property those 2 missing girls that weren't a part of the family, the 3 kids that were a part of the family, the mom and the stepdad. And yeah, they were all dead, all from gunshot wounds to the head. I think a few of them weren't necessarily to the head, but majority of them were.
Didn't he have like some sexual assault allegations against him?
Yes, he had major.
And he had just like gotten out of jail too, right?
Yes, a few years early. He had been sentenced to 20 years and I think just served like 18. And was fresh out. And I've heard mixed reports. Some of the things I listened to said that he was properly registered as a sex offender, but I don't think he was properly registered the way he was supposed to be where he lived. But his new wife, he actually paid a woman to pretend to be the victim of this crime and talk his new wife into believing that it was just this weird, like, statutory situation and she didn't really even care, but made it into this big fluff thing that it wasn't a big deal. But I'm sorry, nobody gets 20 years in prison for some weird little statutory age difference. Like, it's not what happened. So he was clearly a messed up guy, but he had these people all pretty fooled. And we obviously still don't know what went down, but the worst part of the crime scene, I think, is that the bodies were scattered throughout this property. It's not like they were found in the house. I think a few of them were found in the house on this ranch property, but they were scattered like they had been running. Ugh. So something went down and he made sure that nobody made it out alive. Oh. And the other really messed up thing that I've only seen a few reports of, I'm so surprised I couldn't find more on this, actually. When you asked me to look into it, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm on it. And there's not much out there.
Well, and the reason I said that was because there were like news reports all over the place. Right. I was getting these fucking not notifications, but it was popping up everywhere on my timelines. Well, and I was like, this is something we should look into on Monday. You know, so that's why I hit you up and I was like, hey, while this is still fucking hot, let's look at it and see what's going on, see what the fuck happened here, and talk about it on Monday. Well, but it doesn't surprise me that there's not much on it, to be honest with you. It's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, that's where it gets weird. So they released the crime scene for family to come in, and they left behind so much stuff. Oh my gosh. Victim cell phones just hanging out in the house of the released crime scene. The house was filled with restraints. Like, in one room, there was a mattress on the floor, and the floorboards next to the mattress had this piece of plywood nailed to the wall with restraint hooks all through it. Chains and padlocks all throughout this house.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked
up. Like, excuse me, why would you release that crime scene? But it's not where these people lived, I don't think. But I don't know. That part's really unclear too, because
it's not where they lived, but that's where they had the sleepover.
See, that's what I'm not clear about. With the little bit of information that's out there, I'm unclear as to if this was the house they lived in or if this was that ranch property that they went to go swimming or whatever. I'm unclear on that.
Okay, I got
but there's so little information about it, and it's super suspicious. Like, why would you release
what you mean
the crime scene to the
Crime
family?
Weekly hasn't already done a fucking thing.
Well, that's the clip I saw. I think it was actually from Crime Weekly, and it was the family walking through, and they were like, "Oh my God, don't touch it! Don't touch it! That's her cell phone." Like, did they know they left this here?
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
But only getting those little tidbits from the few sources I could find them, it's really weird that here we are a full 7 days later, and I don't see a lot of people asking questions or talking about it anymore. So it's really weird.
That is weird. You think there's more going on there?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
For sure. Not necessarily. I don't know. Maybe he was planning on bringing there and tying them all up, and that didn't go very well, and he killed everybody. I don't know. But he killed himself too, so.
Right. Like, it was obviously like a murder-suicide.
Yeah.
But did he plan on doing that and just those two girls wound up being there? Or did something happen bad and then he had to clean it all up? And then he just decided, fuck it, my life's over.
That's what's so hard to tell. And that's the most recent stuff you can find on it is that the family of the two girls that weren't related to the family and were just there for the sleepover, they, the one mother in particular thinks that the last text messages she had received that Sunday morning before she was due to be home wasn't actually her. They think it was Jesse McFadden, the guy.
Right.
pretending to be
Trying to
her.
make make it look like she was still alive.
So they're unclear on the timing of it, of whether it, like, yeah, they don't know when it happened.
That's rough.
And the
Well,
press
that
conferences
sucks.
were super weird to me. There were conflicting things in some of the media stuff versus, the sheriff department's press releases and stuff. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Have you been keeping up on the Danny Masterson's trial?
Yes, for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
What do you
you?
think about this time around?
It's going much better this time for sure. I
Yeah.
still don't know that he'll get a guilty verdict, but chances are definitely looking better than they did the first time around.
Oh yeah, it's definitely looking like the judge is allowing a better picture
Yeah, it's a better
being
testimony.
portrayed. I mean, people who have from now, I've never been in. I was not a fucking Scientologist. I can't, attest to any of this shit. But if you listen to any of the people that have been in it, they all say the same shit. Bar none, like how this shit was. And the fact that they had their hands so much in this case, like they knew so much about it, because of the way they deal with things internally.
Yeah.
It's kind of frightening. And the fact
Very frightening.
that you're not allowed to go to the police, like as a Scientologist. I mean, you can, but you're technically not allowed to.
Right. Well, and that's why context is so important in this case. It's important for the jury to understand the religious aspect of what they were going through, but that's a hard thing to mix in with court. So it's
Yeah,
complicated.
it's very complicated. And of course, we've talked before about how we watch Aaron Smith Levin, and that's who I keep up on. I've watched him and Mike
Yeah.
Rinder, and I actually caught the video he did with Leah Remini the other day.
Yeah. That was good.
You know, and it's interesting to hear like the daily reports coming out about the witness testimony and what's being allowed and what's not being allowed. And
Yeah.
I do think that a better picture of what these women's lives in Scientology was like is being presented much clearer in this case than in the previous one.
Yeah.
And I hope that they can come to, I hope they can come to a verdict that makes sense in the end. I don't want, the fire to rain down from the heavens and all that bullshit. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's just get this to a conclusion. And, obviously, from what I've seen, okay. Now, granted, the guy is being tried. He's in our justice system. He's innocent until proven guilty. But from what I've seen, all these different women coming forward, not really knowing one another, from what I heard, for the most part, and all telling like this very similar stories. It seems to me like he's guilty.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
just like with any other kind of criminal, people have rap sheets, and he very clearly has a pattern of behavior. So,
I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, the guy didn't have Bill Cosby numbers.
no, but
Because with Cosby, like the whole fucking the joke was, or not really joke, but that with that many, even if a fraction of them are fucking telling the truth, you know what I
right.
mean? Like, so,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's what, 4 in this case, 4,
In this case, but there were more
5.
that just weren't able to be part of the case.
But in this trial,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's 4 of them who are testifying. But yeah, I just think that, in my opinion, he seems to be guilty. Now he's, he gets his day in court and he's allowed to, present his defense, yada, yada, yada. I mean, and we'll see what we'll see. The first one ended in a mistrial. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens with this one. I'm more curious to see what happens with the other stuff where David Miscavige has been considered served.
Yes.
And he could possibly be deposed. I would like to see something along those lines.
Yeah.
Especially now. Like the
I don't
way
know, I
things
feel
are
like
going
the
now.
end is coming for Scientology. I feel like within this decade, they're going to go down.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
In a decade?
In this decade. So like before 2030.
I think that what's going to happen is that the upper management's going to go down. And when it happens. And then I think somebody else will wind up taking the reins of it.
Yeah, there'll be some little satellite weirdos out there for sure.
There'll be somebody that takes the reins of it. And,
I don't think it'll ever have the reach that it has now, though, once upper management goes down.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope not. At some point, I will read those fucking L. Ron Hubbard books, those fiction books.
Not me. Good on you.
I will do it. I'll report every fucking week on them too. I will.
I couldn't.
I will. God damn it. Listen, the dude wrote a shit ton of science fiction, and a lot of people liked him. A lot of people didn't, but a lot of people liked him. So there's got to be something there.
A lot of people like black licorice, Chris.
But there's got to be something there as far as like there's got to be, some nuggets. It can't be all bad. Like the fiction. I'm not talking about like the fucking. I know. I'm not talking Dianetics and all that bullshit. I'm talking fucking his science fiction bullshit. And I almost bought another one of his books the other day.
How many do you have now?
But it's so fucking hard for me to do because I know that the money just goes to fucking Scientology.
Right.
But how many do I own?
Yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard books?
Yeah.
11.
11? Oh, that's not so shameful.
11. I own Battlefield Earth, the anniversary edition, and I own the Mission Earth series, the 10-book series. And what I read of it was not great when I started to read it. But I'm willing to plow through it. Like I'm willing at this point to like bite the bullet and like really sit. Maybe that's what I should read next. Maybe I should like really sit down and read that fucking series.
You're gonna end up on a mailing list owning all those books, Chris.
I probably already am, but they would drop me in a minute.
You'd be declared SP immediately.
Oh, fucking 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Be declared SP while the fucking mail was in the mail en route to my house. Jesus. Yeah, I have every intention of reading. Like I said, do I think that I will wind up enjoying them? Like really, truly enjoying them? No. I think they might.
Curious.
I think they might be interesting to read. In and of that, they'll be fun. But I read through the first book at one point, the very first book of the Mission Earth series. And I tried to again a few years back before I'd gotten my Kindle. I had an actual hardcover. I had them all in hardcover. I sold them when I was selling books on eBay. But and I tried, and it wasn't. That was back because I couldn't read because of my eyes. like read books. It
Yeah.
was very hard for me to read books at that point. So I couldn't get. That's why I couldn't get through at that time. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that'll be the next thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Give it a
might need
shot.
something to clean my palate. Like I said, do something a little some of my normal type of reading just to get back into the groove, and then plow into that. Like I said, I'll give you an update every week, let you know how the fucking thing's going, because it's one of those things where I just gotta know. I gotta know. Like, the dude wrote more fiction than anybody else.
Yeah, but he
ever.
also never wrote a second draft of anything either.
So they say. So they say. I don't know, but we'll find out.
Sounds like ramblings of a psychopath to me, but
I'll fucking check it out. I'll check it out. Ramblings of a Psychopath can be interesting.
true.
It'll be interesting shit.
Well, I would
He's
never
an
read it
interesting
myself,
dude.
so I welcome the updates.
L. Ron Hubbard's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
He's a dude that was against psychology, but he asked for psychological help.
And created psychological help.
That too.
Well, pulled it out of his butt, but
to a degree, yeah. He created a system of...
That's what he thought he was doing anyway.
Right. He was reinventing...
Yeah.
The wheel, so to speak.
He creeps me out hardcore.
Really?
Yeah. I find him repulsive.
I think he's fucking weird. But
yeah.
I don't know that he creeps me out. He, as a person, doesn't creep me out. He is just a weird dude. I'm just like, okay, dude, whatever.
The videos of him speaking give me...
Nice naval outfit.
Ugh. He just... I don't know. I don't. He gives me a really uneasy, gross feeling.
What about David Miscavige?
Little Keebler elf.
We'll take that part out of it. What's he come off?
Very angry little man. Very angry man.
Yeah. Like, if no one had ever told you that he was short.
Right.
And you'd just seen videos of him.
Well, there's not very many videos of him out there, but he definitely seems cocky and arrogant and that typical like movie villain stereotype.
He has not had anyone tell him no.
Yeah.
For a really long time.
And anybody who does tell him no ceases to exist in any kind of productive way. So,
yeah,
you know,
I watched the Ted Koppel interview.
Yeah,
with him.
It's the one interview there is.
I watched the Ted Koppel interview, and that interview is so telling. Like that, it lays it out there for you about who he is and how he is, and if you're really paying attention. Why
you don't see him anymore. He will never do that again.
Yeah, because he comes off like such a dick.
Because he is a dick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But he comes off horrible, and they know it.
Yeah.
They absolutely know it.
I think he knows it.
Even in those videos that surfaced of the fucking their little powwows where he gives fucking Tom Cruise's medal and shit. Yeah. Like those speeches that he gives there, like those come off so douchey.
Oh yeah.
Like he can't even do his own shit good.
No. He's a grade A piece of shit for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't have any love for the man, for sure.
He's a little weasel.
Yeah. We need to figure out something to delve into for next week, Katie. What are you thinking?
Well, there's lots of options. Letitia Stout just got convicted guilty today.
That's one you've been looking into quite a bit, right?
Yeah, the stepmom that killed her stepson, and it was pretty horrific. 3-4 week trial. convicted guilty today of all of her counts, first-degree murder and several. Ooh, yeah, Sarah Boone, Farmer Fred
Smith says Sarah Boone.
Have you seen that case?
No.
It's the suitcase.
The what?
The suitcase.
The suitcase.
A woman trapped her. I think they were boyfriend. I don't think they were married. Maybe they were. She claimed they were playing hide and go seek.
Oh, yeah. No. I know this bitch.
Yes. And then she left him in the suitcase and claimed that she like went to bed and forgot about him. But then there was a video of her like
she's so full of shit.
Yeah. Oh. And her interviews. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but there are so many like funny one-liners.
We could go through her fucking interview.
Interrogations where she's like, not malicious. Not malicious.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, no. Now I know which one you guys are talking about. Now I know the Sarah Boone case. Yes.
Have you ever watched True Crime Loser?
No.
He's a little redheaded comedian. He does true crime stuff, and he does a great breakdown of her interrogations. You have to watch it. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I will have to. I'll have to look at. We'll have to look at that one. We definitely have to buck up on our cult coverage.
Yes.
We can't just go to Aaron Smith Levin's fucking.
That's true. I know.
Fucking Scientology coverage every week.
So he does so much though.
Yeah, he does do a lot. So I'll look into something for that. Maybe we can touch base on something, but. What would if you were to, and we'll do this live on the air, fuck it. If you were to pick a deep dive for us to do next after Adnan Syed, what would you pick?
Well, that's a hard question.
And listen, and this doesn't have to be true crime. Necessarily. Okay. You can go outside of that box if you want. But you know, obviously that is the stuff we try to stick to the second half of this fucking show. But if something comes up, like I like to do the news on the strange stuff. Delving into that stuff, I've done it for years.
Right.
Now, granted, I have no problem doing it now. Zero problem, and we will do it from time to time. I do want to tend to keep the second half to true crime, but I will throw it out there. I'm gonna fucking throw it to you that if there's something that you happen to want to delve into as far as a something along the lines of the strange in the second half of the show, then I'm completely up for doing that as well. But that being said, what would you like to do for our next deep dive?
Wow, this I don't know that I can call this a deep dive, but it's one thing that I've like offered up as a topic before, that it's a really strange fit. It doesn't fit into any of our stuff, but it is one of my favorite stories of all time. Oh, and I don't remember his name because it's a foreign name. But it's the guy who went down with a ship, sunk with a ship, and was down there in the ship for days. And people came to rescue, and they thought they were doing a body recovery, and they found this dude in an air pocket. Oh, and it's the best survival story ever. I'm trying to find his name. He has a YouTube channel, and I'm subscribed to him.
I think I know the story that you're talking about.
And there's a video of it. Of the diver who found him. It was caught on video, and it is just the most powerful story that not enough people know about. Like, not enough people have heard this story. Harrison Ojigba O'Keen. Harrison O'Keen was his name.
Huh.
And he's the greatest dude. Yes, that's one. But the other true crime thing that we've talked about it before, though, is the staircase. That's the other deep dive that.
Staircase is a good one to jump into.
And that's the other one that Crime Weekly did.
that's the one I'd be willing to. I would definitely be willing to do that because that one's another one that, like, so many people are back and forth about that one. You know,
And
whether
I'm
or
back and
not.
forth on it. So, and that's rare for me. There's not many things that I'm back and forth on when it comes to true crime. I usually always have an opinion. But that one got me.
Yeah, we could definitely do that one. So, yeah, I could see that. I don't know if we
Those
could.
are my 2 picks.
I don't know if we could fit it by next week, but
Right. I know there's a lot to consume on the staircase one for
the
sure.
staircase one, yeah.
But and Farmer Fred with the Sarah Boone recommendation, that was excellent. I do also fully support that recommendation.
Yeah, no, that maybe that's what we'll do for next week.
I think
Jump
she's
into
on
Sarah
trial
Boone.
now, or I know it just went to trial here recently.
Yeah, some people just don't know enough to get an attorney and shut their mouth.
Oh, she said so much.
Oh, such a dumb fucking idiot.
Oh, she said so much.
Such a fucking idiot.
In the body cam with the police, in the interrogation, all of it. She just would shut the fuck up.
You're right. That not malicious. Like, shut up, you dumbass. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Like, oh my god. I bet you attorneys watch that interrogation and just that's what they say the whole fucking time. Shut up!
Shut up. Yeah, stop talking.
Fuck.
It's terrible to laugh about a true crime case, but that's one that when you listen to her, you really are like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? But then you think about that dude, how he died a slow, painful death in the suitcase, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's so dark.
That's fucking super dark.
And he begged
for
his life.
And she didn't give a shit.
Nope.
But it wasn't malicious, Katie.
It's not malicious.
Don't you worry. It wasn't malicious. God. It was just fun and games. It was just hide and seek.
I'll have to send you the link to that video. It's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, send me that shit. I'll look through that. Like I said, if I can find her just the interview, I'll try to put that, make some timestamps for myself so that we can go through the video.
Yeah.
And
it's all over. Several people have republished her interrogations, and yeah, you won't have any trouble finding it.
That'll be really good. We'll have a fucking blast with that. That's a good idea. Thank you, Farmer Fred Smith.
Yes.
You're off the hook for no fucking pterodactyl.
I know.
Barbecue. You're off the hook, my friend. You're off the hook.
Major brownie points.
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah Boone. What a fucking crazy bitch. I mean, listen, I don't know why, people think that women can't be just as fucking murderous. I don't know why.
Women are just statistically smarter about it, I think. We do it more rarely, but when we do it, usually it's not the same as a dude doing it. But in this case, she was a dumb bitch.
What do you think of these people fucking trying to fake kidnappings?
What?
There's another woman that was charged with fake kidnapping herself.
Like that Papini girl or whatever?
Like exactly like fucking Miss Papini.
Women are psychopaths. All of us. Okay. Every single one of us. But we have this little light switch. And once in a while, that little light switch can get flipped on and we lose it. So
yeah.
Keep control of your light switches, ladies.
I don't know. Like something's going on. Like this whole idea of like fake kidnappings. Who ever heard of that shit? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe just shit happened that we didn't hear about because we didn't have the internet and all this shit way back when, and stuff just happened a lot more that was dumb that I didn't know about. I don't know, but this stuff is getting fucking weird.
It's definitely a special little like niche, but it's the same thing as like the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell shit. They really thought they were just gonna like murder these kids and get away with it and move on and have a beautiful life. To me, it's like the same delusion. This like, you
They're
know,
definitely deluded.
they're delusional that they're gonna like follow through with this big grand production, this big acting movie, and that it's gonna be successful. Like that's just it's stupid, and it's the same level of stupidity of people thinking they're gonna get away with something.
Yeah.
And they're gonna fool everybody and oh, I'm so smart.
Yeah. I don't know. I see this stuff and I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's weird.
Another one? Like it was in Pennsylvania or some shit.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, I saw something about it. Let me see. I'll pop up the news, see if it's still there.
Was it a younger girl this time? Maybe I did see something about that. I think she was in her 20s. She was a much younger girl.
No, I'm not finding anything on it now.
I feel like if it had TikTok in the headline, that's probably why I didn't click on it.
Let me see. Kidnapping. Pennsylvania college dropout allegedly faked abduction to avoid graduation embarrassment.
Wow. So that was a motivation behind it. She wasn't going to graduate.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Social pressures, man.
April 29th, momfluencer found guilty of fake kidnapping claim after tale of couple trying to snatch her kids.
Ugh.
Was that Sherry Papini? No, that's another one.
Sherry Papini kidnapped herself.
Yeah,
tortured herself.
Katie Sorensen. That's a different one. Katie Sorensen. Yeah, so this is like a thing. It's like a fucking thing now. Like, I don't get it.
It's the boy who called wolf.
All over the fucking place.
They like attention. It's gross.
Yeah. So that's why I figured I'd pose the question of what you thought about it. I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's fucking weird. All right. I think we're gonna wrap up a little early tonight, so I can kind of hang out with my son, do some shit. We'll be back next week with some more stuff. We will get into the Sarah Boone shit. That's what we'll do. Just for you, Fountain Fred Smith, for being a fucking loyal listener, being here all the time, hanging out.
Recommendation.
Fountain Fred Smith, you the man. We will jump into that next week. And the staircase. I'll have to start planning that one out. I'll start figuring out how I'm gonna absorb that one, and then when we'll jump into it. But
sounds good.
We'll give it a few weeks and then we'll jump into the staircase. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like that. Sarah Boone next week. We'll figure out the staircase. I'm down. It's not malicious, Katie. It's just a podcast. It's just a podcast. Sorry, everybody, for not being able to see Katie this week. We had some technical difficulties, so we had to turn off her video. Hopefully, by next week, we can get things fixed, situated, and back to normal. As always, please subscribe to the podcast. Search for the Fortean Files on Spotify. You can watch the video if you're subscribed to the podcast through Spotify. The video is there. Everywhere else is just audio. But please subscribe to the podcast if you like the show. Go over to the new Facebook page, facebook.com/the Fortean Files. That's facebook.com/TheForteanFiles. And for those of you that don't know or who are listening to the podcast, I guess, and don't know the YouTube channel where we broadcast live on Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is youtube.com/at the Fortean Files. That's youtube.com/the @ symbol TheForteanFiles. And we'll be back next Monday night at that 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for good times, hilarity, fun, and nothing malicious. Don't worry. I won't bring anything malicious to the table next Monday. Except maybe Sarah Boone's fucking interrogation. So until then, be good to one another out there, ladies and gentlemen.